Nah, it just
Yo, what's good, y'all? Another episode of Doc and Neck Wednesdays, episode 17. Listen, man, we about to make a hard pivot, man. My guy in his bag right now, he feeling it. He fed up, so you know what's about to come, man. You already know what time it is. Strap in.
Yo, we not sponsored yet, but it seems like that's where it's at.
Straight up. Uh-oh.
The hat and the gloves is off. Let's go.
Y'all ain't peeped the logo though.
So we're not sponsored yet, but they sending some merchandise our way. Good people over at Link2. Listen, so we're actually in the process of getting them to come on our platform on DotConnect to do a Q&A with the company. They have great insight on Ripple, PolySign, you name it. They have access to some of the most innovative companies pre-IPO. So if you guys don't know, we'll drop the link in the bio. At least research what's happening, right? So even if you're not ready to invest, just to see like autonomous drone companies, starting to look at their white papers and stuff like that. If all this shit comes to fruition of what I'm seeing, it's a wild society, So yeah, this ain't a shameless plug for Link2. It's just a matter of you're able to research companies before they actually go public. It's good knowledge and information to have, even from not an investment world, even just from a business standpoint, the amount of ideas that are circulating in my head just by researching, setting up a free account. You don't need to invest and just going to town on it. So Ripple is actually the only project that I've bought to the group where we can invest pre-IPO in Ripple. And the pricing has gone down based on the kind of what's happening in the market today. So it is cheaper than when I initially got in on the Ripple shares. Now, the latest call I had with Link2 was in regards to they're going to allow us to I guess they're going to build like an exchange and be a broker. So if I wanted to sell my shares to somebody else, I can do that. Which I like that, because now as a community, we can kind of go in together. A little bit more. So if somebody didn't have the minimum requirement, then we can kind of formulate that plan to make sure we get in on a lot of these pre-IPOs. So that's huge coming out of Link2. So if we can get them on the platform, they're actually looking at our socials, our online presence. So hopefully they don't find the God's personal page. We might be cooked. So yeah, hopefully that comes through. Champ had some good situations with Circle, right?
Yeah. So
what are we looking for here?
So with Circle, we're I'm trying to push the envelope and get them to come on the platform as well, but they're looking on new ways to implement blockchain technology through just different avenues. With us having the cryptocurrency university, they just feel like that could be a good fit. So right now I'm talking to one of the sales reps to get them on. So what would be really dope about the whole situation is, you all know that we've already told you guys numerous times that USDC is going to be the government approved stablecoin that they're going to utilize when it comes to digital assets. Now, outside of CBDCs, right? That's a talk for a whole nother day. Just the stablecoin itself to be able to transact and hold its value, and that this is one company that's showing 100% transparency, and it feels genuine. It's organic. I've actually looked at some of the QSIP numbers, backing, a lot of the transactions, and you're able to actually go on and find it and see it and look at these things, and you can tell that it's literally backed by adequate reserves, and it's extremely safe. And I actually saw Jeremy Allaire, he's the CEO of Circle. He was actually talking yesterday. I'm gonna post a clip inside of the beginners chat for everybody to see. He was being interviewed on I think, what is it called? Squawks Box or something like that on CNBC. And he basically was just giving a rundown, telling them how important Circle was, how important USDC was. And before I don't want to go straight into this article, because I'm pretty sure Steve's gonna want to go and talk his talk. But every day there's news right up under your noses that's showing you guys why we say what we say. You know what I mean? We have to be extremely careful. There's a lot that's going on with influencers and, certain regulatory bodies that's overreaching. But, with everything that we say is make sure you do your own research in all things that you say. I mean, that all things, right? Doesn't matter who's giving you this information, do your own research, because a lot of these guys are incentivized. A lot of these guys are doing pump and dumps. They're leading you the wrong way. So all of this is all tying together between, having the proper stable coins to utilize to be safe in the space, self-custodying, just making sure you're doing the necessary to keep yourself safe in the space. And I just feel like that would be a great value add to have somebody from Circle actually come on and speak to you guys, with us having such an organic team over here. So
guys, it's Circle and Link to all in the same week. So I'm looking to take a real hard pivot from how we approach this industry. Listen, talking about projects is one thing, right? Now all these distractions right here is really a nuisance at this point now. You know what I'm saying? Because that shit really doesn't have anything to do with us. Our family talk has never mentioned buying FTT, staking. Everything from day one that we created here was all about protection. Mm-hmm. Right? The university is just here, and it's never been financial advice. It's really we were here to introduce the industry to people who we felt needed to hear it from a different side of the coin, right? Because if it wasn't for Champ and I, and I'm not saying there's not guys out here that aren't doing the good work, but you guys wouldn't have found those guys initially. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I was following crypto guys on YouTube, and they might have been only like 2, and I don't even see these guys anymore. Right. And the reason being is they were breaking down projects and probably part of pump and dumps because they had large communities. Mm-hmm. They were sponsoring events. They were getting discounts to everything. So today indictments came down for some stock influencers that were out here. Right. You guys got to read the shit. The names of these guys are crazy. So government name and then I guess whatever your handler name was. So I'm starting to see like the entire industry is built on exit liquidity, right? The projects that we've talked about, there is no exit liquidity, right? We talked about XRP. That shit has literally been a stable coin for the last 2 years. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? We've talked about HBAR. The HBAR is literally a fucking paperweight for me at this point now. It just sits on my desk. You know what I'm saying? It's a 5 cent, 6 cent stable coin, right? These are stable coins, legit. When that NFT craze came and went, and you could look at old video, I was like, yo, chill out. This ain't it, right? And I'll be honest, most of those guys probably didn't even cash out. They still sitting on these avatars. Mm-hmm. Right. And then slowly but surely you start to see those avatars used to replace their screen, what do you call them? Icons.
Screen pictures and all that, profile pictures.
Right. People couldn't wait to show that shit off because they were 6 figures. They were even selling dirt, right? Remember they airdropped dirt that was worth 40,000. So I'm like, fuck is going on right now? Like just common sense shit. But when you're at the casino and you're at that table and it's running, you still got to get home. You got to cash out and still get home. Right. And crypto's been one of those things where it's been hard to leave the industry. Like at what point? At what point? When we know we're nowhere near, where this technology can take us. So to see these fucking dweebs like, just taking advantage of people in these times, man. I mean, these guys had a Telegram group that was called Wire Fraud. You know what I'm saying? Like Champ can't say shit on Twitter or TikTok without it like flagging something. So how does that much money evaporate? And no one know anything? So I shot my first, because I stayed off for like 2 weeks. I'm like, yo, I'm off this shit. Like any sort of brain power behind like breaking down crypto news, it was well covered. You know what I'm saying? My opinion didn't matter. Everybody covered it well. So I'm sitting back in the 2 weeks and I'm like, yo, what the fuck is happening, right? So I'm like, because this distraction is too loud for something to not be happening in the background in the same industry. And I told y'all this shit too. I said they're gonna bring everybody in to the SEC, right? You're starting to see it. They're gonna make so much noise that when this Ripple thing happens, it's like it's gonna be a thief in the night. They're not really gonna cover it like that. You understand? Because everybody else is gonna have a hard case on their neck, and nobody's gonna be able to use the Ripple defense. That's gonna be the crazy part because there's no fucking rules. You see what I'm saying? There's no rules. Library was just out, done. And they kept the shit like super quiet on top of it. You can't miss nothing that happens in crypto. So I'm looking into 2 weeks, and what do I see? The central bank digital currencies are being released all over the fucking world, right? So I'm like, oh, God damn. And guys, I'm telling you, the people in these countries are resisting. They're not adopting it. So we got to follow suit on this situation. You know what I mean? Put aside like investment money, because if you told me I had to lose a third of my investment to save humanity, like, yo, just take the whole shit. We just figure the whole shit out after. Yo, this digital fiat and the things that these guys are attaching to it. So can you imagine your money having an expiration counter on it? Like you got a certain amount of time, you got to spend it or it goes away.
The Elon.
Right.
Yeah.
So you got this carbon tax that they're trying to do right now. And the only way to really do it is to tie it to all things electric, right? Tie it to all things digital and to be able to cut things off and track things, right? So you're just going to be told the amount of gas that you can use, the amount of flights that you can take per year. This is where we're going. This is why Elon Musk is like also pushing this agenda, because he's on grid already. He's ready to go. So I'm looking at this whole shit play out and I'm like, yo, we're not even seeing this shit, right? So I'm even distracted from what's happening, right? This Bankman kid is like, he's wild, man. Like this nigga did a lot in a short amount of time. And all this within a month, because he just had a bad month. He's not making it out of Bahamas. I'm gonna tell you this shit right now, right? The arrests that occurred, come on, guys, you know about deportation. It don't take no time to get somebody on a flight when that call is made. You understand? So he's being held in this prison until February, late February. Why? Why? He should have been in the United States already. So he's being held in this prison till late February. That is to make sure that he doesn't get extradited here. The Bahamas, they don't, you know how much dirty stuff goes on in the Bahamas? They don't care about anything. You know, you can grease palms. So that arrest was smoke and mirrors, guys. That shit is not to bring this dude back here. He will not make it back to the US soil. That kid will probably die, or they would lose track of him. That's what's going to happen to that kid. Because when you start to follow the whole entire scheme, you know what I'm saying? Now we're talking about BlackRock, like some major companies, Sequoia Capital, like big dogs were investing with this guy right now, right? So when we're talking about $10 billion wiped off, where's the money? You know what I'm saying? And once they're able to follow the trail of the money to these wallets, they're going to see where it's at. And that's the part that those guys need to control. So I'm scrolling through and I want to share this with you guys because this is what got me like really hot earlier. Where it's like, it doesn't matter what the fuck we do, right? It doesn't matter what we do. So some cryptos are a scam. And the same goes for like shares of companies that just aren't legitimate, right? So we can't act like there's not companies on the stock market that ain't worth the paper is you know, whatever they're telling you. And then you got this fractional banking system, right? Let's think about it, right? So the fractional banking system, in short, you're able to just receive all this money from people, only need to keep 10% in reserve. So Sam Bankman had 0% in reserve, right? Some crypto companies have 0%, but we're talking about 10% legally. Still a Ponzi at the end of the day, right? Because if we all run to the bank, that's it. They don't got it.
That's the bank run. Yep.
Right. So get my thought back. Someone is that type popcorn eating night. So when you got the fractional banking system that's set up, which is the biggest scam, right? Because fuck all this crypto shit. We've been scamming from before crypto, right? The bankers are getting richer. The bankers are getting richer, right? So now we got to ask ourselves, this shit is nothing more than organized crime. So the problem we're going to face now, guys, is them digital currencies, they're out and they're being released right now. So Canada, during the truckers' protests, remember, they used Bitcoin. They were blocking addresses and kicking people off their banking system for donating to a cause, right? This is the pandemic now. So they were using trucks to just say, yo, back up off us. This is too much. So y'all remember that. That was Canada's first move with it, just showing you who they are. Canada's, what do they call this guy? He's not a president, right? He's like a
yeah, I forgot.
Prime Minister.
prime minister.
Prime Minister, yeah.
Prime Minister.
Right. Half the country hates these guys, hates this guy, Justin, right? He's a global elite. These guys have praised China's social credit system and said we should all strive for that, right? So now we're going back to the model citizen situation. But the issue with the model citizen situation is who gets to make the rules on what's considered a model citizen or not, right? So that PayPal glitch that everybody caught, then they were like, oh, no, that was an error, right? So misinformation, right? During the same week in Washington right now, Fauci and all others are being deposed, right? So they've all been speaking, but nobody's covering the shit. So understand when the news cycle gets loud, there's something that's happening behind the scenes. So this is what I've been doing for 2 weeks, is looking at all this situation. So now you got Fauci and them on the hot seat, right? They have to give back, they have to give people back their social media accounts. You know, there's people that lost income due to this, what they deem misinformation. So, yo, the whole thing is a big ass fucking scam at the end of the day, right? Because if this was about public protection, we've been asking for regulation since before I got into the space. Yeah. And more so, if you can't see a reason for us to have regulations yesterday, after the last 3 months of crypto, then I don't know, man. That's the part I'm trying to make sense of, is like, yo, what's taking them so long, right? But they have to bankrupt every single one of these exchanges, right? So when you start to look at South Korea, they already have regulations behind exchanges. Exchanges have to be partnered with a bank, and they have to be approved, right? Canada, you can't leverage trade in Canada, the derivatives market, and that's a big scam too, right? That was Enron. This is how a lot of these insurance companies are able to they play in that derivative space. So crypto is these kids right here, they're amateurs compared to the shit that goes on right now. You know what I'm saying? But because they were able to see the power of the technology, now the same players who are in the market right now that are controlling the people that are supposed to protect us, right? Because this is how it works. Gary kind of works for us, but it's not feeling like that right now.
Feeling like that at all.
You know what I'm saying? And we know what it is. So these are the same guys that are supposed to give out cases. I can't with that one.
Wicked.
So the next thing that happens, right? BitBoy gets an email, an extortion situation now. So now they have his social security number, they have his driver's license, they have his date of birth, they have his home address. And he's supposed to give up X amount of Bitcoin, ETH, all types of shit he's supposed to send to a particular wallet, right? Mm-hmm. So now we're talking about an attack on influencers from all levels, but BitBoy's also been doing a lot in the last couple of weeks. Understand? Mm-hmm. I'm urging you guys to not post no ledgers, no cold storage. Don't post any purchases you make. If you did, pull it down. Play it easy. You know what I'm saying? Play it easy. Because now we talking about, ribs are going to start touching. So people don't know how to equate all this situation right here. The one good thing that we do have is you'd have to be really sophisticated to figure out how to get my shit from me. Damn near crazy on top of that, but sophisticated, meaning you just can't take this thing and plug it in your computer and it's deemed worthless. I could forget it somewhere and it wouldn't matter. But I'm just telling you guys to just be careful with your crypto social presence. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So Champ and I, we're going to start doing more talks inside of the metaverse. Anything on the internet is deemed stupid anyway. But this platform here is definitely, this ain't it. And then we loaded it right up to YouTube and that ain't it. So
at all.
Fuck you, YouTube, if you're watching this shit. So this is why Champ and I don't sponsor projects and never have and never will. The new pivot for the New Year's is really speaking to these companies and making them aware of who we are, mm-hmm. right, as a community. So when I put the Black Crypto Alliance in it, guys, we got to build something that's going to protect us in the space, right? Because we don't have protection in this old world. So imagine when the shit comes digital and they're able to cut you off, right? Now they could deem the dollar black. That's the black did not. He's done. You see what I'm saying? We just got to be smart with the way that we move in the space. I'm urging you, please, because when the utility run happens, mark my words on this, the wealthiest people in the world are going to be cryptocurrency community. You understand? And we're not talking about like NFT wealth either. This is going to be like long-standing sustainability, not, this one gets to 900 and it crashes to zero, right? You're going to start to see all the implementations, the partnerships are here. When that flow starts to, and it's not even mass adoption, right? I'm not even talking about mass adoption now. I'm talking about the first bull run is going to be the utility bull run. That's going to be the first one. The mass adoption could be another 20, 50 years, right? You're going to have your increments, but crypto is going to chip away at the very fabric of this wild shit that these dudes are doing, right? So all these record labels, done. Yeah, done. Right? Because we can't think that we weren't using digital camera, Polaroid, film, mm-hmm. right? what happens? You think those industry leaders at those times were the ones that innovated the new technology? No, they missed the wave. Polaroid turned down a digital camera. A bunch of old guys sitting on the board like, what, digital camera? Nah, they got no digital camera money. And Polaroid does more than cameras. They do lenses, like there's other aspects to their business, but we're just talking about just from a photography standpoint. So I'm telling you that in the next decade, you're gonna see these projects chipping away at the bullshit, right? But the problem is, as a collective, this shit starts to expire. We're fucked.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And when I say we, I'm not me, not the people within my inner circle that I can teach how to navigate the situation, but just we as a collective, right? Because the shit, it's feeling grim out here.
Very.
And it's the same week that it's the baby, the Balenciaga and the babies, and so you got Kanye off and canceled, but then these child predators are you're partnering with them. So we just good with this shit, right? Like what can't they do or say at this point that would even make us like disgusted? I went to lunch with my wife the other day and we walked through the mall, right? So we walked through Neiman Marcus, Balenciaga. No problem. Still in the store. I start researching subsidiaries of, and all things lead back to the same fucking people, guys.
Mm-hmm. Caring.
Yo, we got to start flexing our muscle a little bit more, man. I get that, I'm not here to tell you what to do with your social media, but a fucking like ain't worth really much out here in these streets. I hate feeling like I'm on a fucking island. You know what I'm saying? I hate feeling like I'm on an island. You can't tell me I'm the only one seeing this shit right now.
Hell no.
Yo, they're wilding right now.
No, and that's all just the tip of the iceberg. Like, you know what I mean? Just to keep it hot. You're looking at one company, you know what I mean, under a group of many. Caring is who owns that's the luxury goods company. You got to think that's French. It's French based and it's multinational corporation. They have Balenciaga, Bottega Veneta, Gucci, Alexander McQueen, Yves Saint Laurent. Like, listen, that's a mountain in itself, and you cannot just think it's just one of all of those. Nah. And then think about outside of that small little little mountain hole. It's like, yo, this has been going on for forever. So now it's coming to a head. Things are becoming revealed, and people still aren't adjusting. They're not adapting. They're not pivoting away from this. It's like, yo, you're supporting this. No more, man. Wow, wash my hands of this, man. These guys is wild out here, man.
Listen, that contract that they had is expiring, and they're losing it, right? But they're also turning it up on us too. Listen, I'm gonna keep doing my part, man. So yeah, for as long as y'all part of this university, y'all gonna keep, we're gonna keep feeding you this situation the way we know best, and it's just honest, right? And by all accounts, it's not that I'm not into the money. Trust me, I know what money is a tool. I know what it's capable of, right? I'm just saying that currency is supposed to flow, and it's not flowing correctly. You understand? And they're not even being honest. It's not even a fair game at this point, right? I've seen this play out before in history. The pitchforks come out and people head for the hills. So this is what it's going to take, because you think about the yo, guys, y'all better strap up, man. This shit getting pivotal. And it's happening so fast. So because Champ and I have been saying it, and it's only been about a year or two, a year for the university. But it's been since 2015 that I've been seeing this thing progressing. And I can tell you, I used to be more, I used to have fun in this space.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? This was like that first theme park you went to. Now this shit is crazy. On one end, you hold the right utility coins, it changes a lot, right? Then on the other end, they're part of a fucked up system that's about to be implemented on us too. You see what I'm saying? So it's almost like, it's like, yo, we're really investing in our own demise at this point now. We're gonna be okay with this digital currency situation. Like, we're gonna be okay with not having a seat at the table. So when I see, when I come down hard on guys like Ian and these dudes from EYL, it's because, one, I know the potential that those guys have, and two, I know it's pivotal because they can easily sell this shit off.
Easy.
You know what I'm saying? When I sell it off, I'm not, I mean, that's just part of America, right? But BT was also sold off, and you see how the whole shit pivoted. So I'm not here to create like the biggest platform, by no means. But I am the type of individual that wants to form a collective with all platforms.
BCA.
You understand? So we can just have a common ground to understand like the rules of engagement of what we do and don't do. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the issue nowadays, is like nobody's taking oaths anymore. Everybody's just kind of like, the guys that are doing the oaths, they working on the other side. They working overtime. So listen, we got a few more weeks left in this fucking year. And just when you think it couldn't get any worse, this shit, you cannot make this movie up. The pandemic was super easy compared to this stuff right now. Right? Because it's kind of open, but people are still getting sick. But it's I don't know what's happening out here right now. So I'm gonna ask y'all to do this. Please deep dive into the central bank digital currency situation, guys. Please, I'm telling you. Google everything, watch every video on the World Economic Forum that you can. All of it is a fucking movie. Trust me, you won't be bored by none of this shit, right? These people are talking about the haves and the have-nots. This is all it's coming down to, guys. That's it. The haves and the have-nots. They don't give a fuck what side of it you on at the end of the day. And I'm telling you that most people aren't going to make it within my social group. I'm not talking about the space here. Within my social group, because they're not going to see it coming.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Industries are being wiped out. So again, what happened in those 2 weeks? Amazon, massive layoffs. Why is Amazon laying people off left and right? Guys, there's no more goods coming from China. Right? There used to be, I want to say, on any given day into these ports, just one port, it was probably 99 ships coming in, right? The same port today only has 7. The borders are closed. You know what I'm saying? What the United States did before, because they're not calling the shit a recession just yet, because you send the ripple effects throughout the world, right? My man is in Turkey right now. He's telling me that inflation is damn near 20%, guys. They're drowning out there. He's living. They're drowning. It's the opposite of what's happening here. We buy the hoard. Their stores are packed full because nobody could afford anything right now. And this is happening all over the world. So this is why these countries are jumping off the petrodollar, and they're implementing their own, they're taking back their currency, and now they need a way to communicate with each other. Mm-hmm. This is a problem. right? When it's all running through one system with the petrodollar, it's easy. So there's actually people fighting for the American dollar right now in countries. They're fighting for it, guys. You know what I'm saying? We can go out to Turkey right now. We could run so much twists in that market right now. So at the top of the year, I'm just telling y'all, we're going to start playing a way smarter game with this crypto situation. Like, miss me with the bullshit news. Everything's going to be high level. We're looking to do, we are going to do partnerships with big companies, right? And I'm in the final stages of just forming that alliance situation and just starting to tag on members, you know, to start, right? But it has to be a collective situation. When I say alliance, meaning if we don't have an agency that's going to speak for us, where we'll be able to call things out in real time, and because they know that we have the power behind us, because we're going to, listen, guys, we're going to be leveraging a lot of our crypto in the future, and it's not to sell it to buy dumb shit, right? It's really to collectively pool it together and make more sense for us. And so we have to buy power at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? We have to buy power at the end of the day. So at the top of the year, it's going to be all high level crypto talk. I don't want to hear how do you buy or sell. At this point, if you're not by Q1 next year, if you're not positioned with the right coins, that's it. Yep. That's it. Even, you know, even what I have, there's only so much I could plus up right now. So we're trying to figure out how we go over the counter the same way these guys play to be able to get stuff in. So the circle situation is a good avenue into understanding how that stuff works, where we can get money from our bank into that product, because that's all they care about. You understand? And then from there, they don't think that we're sophisticated enough to be able to maneuver it and send it to different places, right? So it's twofold with this circle situation and what we're trying to do. Yeah, guys, in 2 weeks, like, so much has been happening, but it keeps getting drowned out by the biggest frauds. Like, how do you allow in these times right now, when we're on the brink of like a depression, for this much fraud to take place? I'll be honest, this shit ain't even happening to the magnitude that they saying. They fucking lying. It's impossible. And then they talk about the other thing too that slipped under the rug in the 2 weeks when they was all yelling. This Coinbase, what's the ETF, the Bitcoin ETF? Grayscale,
yeah.
They don't even own it. They don't even have it. They never, this shit is, they're just, it's like they're using staked bit and calling it ownership, right? Because if you think, if fractional banking just tells you you need to keep 10% in, what's all the stake stuff doing for you on Coinbase? Because I got guys talking about they getting like 1.5% a year and they got to lock it in for a year. What are they leveraging off of that ETH and that bit every single day to make money on in the market? Because we trade futures, so there's volatility in the market on both sides. So what are they doing with the state coins, guys? They're playing the market with the state coins.
Gambling.
They built derivative markets behind state coins. We're playing against the house. And this was Champ earlier where it came. I'm like, nah, it has to be somebody on both sides. And then after, I'm like, nah, why do you need somebody on both sides? Nobody's watching. Yo, we fucked. Like, fucked. And I'm telling you, if you don't have the right crypto in place, it's over. And when I say over, meaning you're just going to have the $20, $30, $50 entry. So just be ready for that. Right? Just be ready for that. I saw a video. Was it? It was on HBAR, right? Listen to how wild this shit is going to be, guys. When you look at all the governing, the alliance for HBAR, right? All the companies, the governing body, these companies are going to use the HBAR protocol and blockchain for all things. Boeing, Google, IBM, you name it, they're over there. Avery, huge companies. So what they said was they were going over the price analysis of what can happen to this situation when it comes. You're going to get to a point, guys, where those companies, right? So when people ask, who's going to be buying it for, you know, 20 or 30 or $40,000, these companies are going to have to buy it back.
You got to buy.
Right. So when you look at the HBAR situation, and I'm plussing up, and this is not financial advice, I'm telling y'all right now, this is just me telling a personal story. When you talk about Google and Boeing and IBM and all things, right, having to buy back something that's scarce, what is the proposed value for something like that? Because now at this point, we're, you know, companies only as good as the partnership it forms, right? And the what it's actually solving. You understand? So I'm urging you guys to do a deep dive into the HBAR situation and start to, here's the axe. You got to look at what they're solving for each one of these companies and what it's saving them. Right? This is the bottom line now. And I saw a couple of the shits, and I started with Boeing first. Guys, I'm telling you, they got us sleeping. We cannot subscribe to this love and hip hop shit that's happening in crypto. We can't. We are too smart for that. And too much shit is passing us right now. We need to figure out how to get money into this space, right? To keep these investments coming in. Next month, KuCoin is done and Binance is done.
Binance is cooked.
By the top of the year, done. Right? Get your Bybit account if you're going to trade. You understand? Get a Bybit account if you're going to trade. Go inside the beginner chat if you need a VPN initially to sign on, and then after that you don't need a VPN at all. And when I say crypto, when I say Coinbase, I mean Binance, and this one's going to be done. It's just they're just going to make a formal announcement to it, but you're still going to be able to transact, right? Because they're not listening to nothing at this point. CZ's not even, he's not even licensed to operate in Europe. Okay. He just bought a Japanese exchange. The problem with CZ is he's using, he's cleaning money for somebody at this point, right? This is the narrative they're going to pin on him. I'm not saying that that's what he's doing. I'm just telling you the narrative that he's tied to dirty money. But if I had to guess, he probably is, because most of crypto is tied to that. And if you're the biggest exchange in the world, how are you not in bed with a lot of the big players? You understand? I don't know if you guys know, but when you leverage trading in other countries under Binance does 300x leverage trading, right? I know guys that make millions and that lose millions doing this. So again, if you're not betting against, if it's not me and Champ and we're playing against a machine, then it will never work. You know what I mean? That's why when I told you guys about the 25 and the 25 situation and the reason why you would hit at a high rate, you know, it's a matter of just being able to look at this market long enough to be able to read and just see what these guys are doing. You understand? Because none of the exchanges are really tied to each other at the end of the day. Right? So when they talk about transparency, they don't know what they each hold. So it's like, so where are they getting these numbers from? What pot are they divvying from? Start researching that shit and see what you find out.
Mm-hmm. You'll find out that money has never been there. It's never been real.
Like we could literally start an exchange right now. The only problem with doing that is we'd be fucking over our own people. In essence. Guys, in the last 2 weeks, I'm telling you, if you got a little bit of time and you research just what's been happening in cryptocurrency and not the Sam fucking kid, all the implementation all around the world, you will see it. And if you're in the 1% group, day 2, you know, Champ told you about the, you know, if you want to knock them out with the Bretton Woods situation. And
nah, They got to be in. They got to be a part of that. That's that's it. They got to respect that one. But it's important, and it just ended. That's all I'm gonna leave y'all with. Bretton Woods Part 2, 2.0. It just ended last week. So just know 3.0 is here, and there's more to it. So everybody in the 1%, you guys are already tracking. You guys got the info on 1 and 2. Now you'll understand where 3 is at and where we going. You want to hear that news on your own, you can research, but if you don't, join the 1%, y'all will get that work.
So listen, so when I've been off grid, so I've been working on our first Web3 project, right? And I'm gonna share it with you guys. So we're entering the digital space, and I don't like to call it the metaverse, right? It's just all things. Just got to reclassify what the name is. So we're working on digital shopping centers, right? That are going to mirror what we see today, because everybody's online shopping is the experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing more online shopping than I actually do in-person shopping. So we're building the first, and this is all digital real estate. And the way that we're going to set it up is we're going to offer you guys a chance to invest at ground level within the projects, because of course there's going to be tokenomics behind the situation. But now you can go into fully immersed spaces from retailers where you can have in-person conversations, virtual try-ons. So we're implementing all things submersive in the space. So, basically in the mirror malls, Simon Property, General Growth. I've worked with a lot of these companies before. So now we're going to build those products that are going to usher these guys into, the new digital space that's about to come in. So this is why I tell you guys, like, I'm not just here to teach the projects. We have to position ourselves in this Web3 to figure out, because you figure these are new industries. This is $1 trillion industries that are untapped right now. You understand? So being at the cutting edge of that, and I've seen companies and what their valuations were with way worse. Like, I'm really trying to make this work. This isn't one of those, capital raise and then it never comes to fruition. Like, I'm really going to make this work. And then within it, we can tokenize particular things now. So, you guys know I'm all things holistic and growing in that space where I can connect the holistic world to tokenization now. Understand? So when we have this and we're all invested in alternative medicine, we don't need to subscribe to like insurance companies. We can subsidize it all through tokenomics. This is where the fuck I'm going with it. You understand? I told you, like, listen, making the money is one thing in the space, but leaving a mark is the thing. So when I've studied the 90s guys and the billionaires that were made, and I'm looking at what these guys are able to achieve now with ownership of teams and all this, I'm coming for it. I'm coming for it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's time. The only way that we can get these dudes out the way is to get them out the way. And it's just by competing with them at that level. But we get to do it in a different space that they're on. They're going to be the ones cutting the check, not realizing it's going to be to their demise. Got tracking?
All
right, hope y'all tracking. So if anybody's interested in that Web3, let's drop a 1 in the chat. I'm gonna start to have private groups. This ain't gonna be a thing where I'm just sharing it with everybody. And I'll bring you guys in on ground level. And we have the people behind us. The crazy part about the implementation of the technology is we got the guys to bring this to fruition, high level. The last thing is going to be the educational capabilities of artificial intelligence, right? So imagine being at these marches and kids understanding the history by feeling the history and seeing it from a different vantage point, right? So we're going to digitize our history. and bring that to artificial intelligence. Because shit, it's gonna be here, but we can't be on dummy time.
Right.
Right. And you know, by the time it gets to us, it's already kind of too late. So we're gonna usher that in fairly soon. And you know, put it out to the world, put it out to the public school system, whoever wants to gravitate towards it. And you know what that technology is going to be worth, because they're not going to care about the way we tell our history. They're just going to want it for their history. So they're going to pay like they weigh. Guys, when that metaverse was hot, people were charging hundreds of thousands of dollars to build structures on lots. That digital real estate is it's huge. My guy's on here, Brant. If Brant, if you want to come on, Brant's a realtor out in Cali, and we were talking about possibly our brokerage coming to their brokerage, and they're already in the metaverse, and you know their home buyers are coming in, interacting in this virtual space, being able to get your questions answered live, right? Because this phone situation with overseas is just wild.
Wow. Yeah.
My partner did a test site for municipality, right? A township. So now people can go inside the township. So instead of going to the website where you can't find nothing, everything's done, right? You'll be able to go to rooms, just like if you were to walk into the township and you go here to pull the file, you'd be able to do the same exact thing. So just think of this as like Sims on steroids. And y'all know, because if anybody's my age, Sims was what ushered us into that internet world, virtual world. So Brand, if you want to chime in just to kind of give it insight on like how metaverse is working within your real estate brokerage.
Yeah. It's funny because I was pitched it before everything, before Sandbox, and we knew about all that stuff, but also before the pandemic. It was kind of like when I was in New York and I was pitched Uber, and I didn't really get it because we had yellow cabs. It was like, didn't make sense. And now it's like, how the fuck did we live without it? And then you go to your brick and mortar real estate offices. Then we all start working from home. So it's like, what do you really need anything for? And then I joined where I am now. And you know, it's weird how things are like focused and then expanded, because now that we're at home working, like, not that I have the goggles, but you're in the metaverse, but it makes the world bigger sometimes than if I just go up the street. Because with Steve and I, like, I needed to find some stuff out that was going to be Pennsylvania driven and New York driven. And while you could call and you can email, when it clicked when I was, not only was I in the metaverse the other day and talking to brokers in Pennsylvania and in New York from California. We've done that before, right? I've picked up the phone, I've Zoomed, I've connected with people further away than that. The part that was interesting, besides the fact that you can see them and you make an avatar that looks like you and they make one that looks like them, so you kind of like get it, and you know if you see them at some function, it's going to be like cool and exciting. But more than that, what I realized was the key kind of was that I didn't need anyone's phone number or email. All I had to do was click, boom. And I also realized, not for nothing, Stephen, I'll show you when we schedule that like, while it was good, it had like a Call of Duty feel, you know, Bond, like it felt like Bond, felt good. You could look around. It's 3D. Things look pretty like not shitty. And but whether you're in New York or Pennsylvania, New Jersey or whatever, like the waiting areas and all that look the same. They didn't spend too much design work on like making it custom to states or anything, which also would have been like, you know, with today's climate, who needs like to even try to get a separate color palette or any of that going on? People would find a reason to complain. But besides that, you had a map come up, you click where you wanted to go, you signed in, you pulled a ticket, you waited, and then they literally were like, go down the hall, you walk down the hall, you go in, and you're sitting there across from a broker. It was cool. It was very cool.
guys. And that's, you know, and when you think about the township situation, because even today I went on to look at our community center here for some information. You get onto these websites now, you got to think, because social media came along and websites just kind of evaporated, right? So no one has been putting in time on their website to make it efficient for today, right? Because everything is social media. Now your company, you have your stuff here, you advertise, and that's kind of how you draw the business up. But the good thing about this world is you're able to, you know, like Brand said, there still is, you know, phone. When was the last time you called to find out anything, right? When was the last time you even Googled to find out information? So Google lost 30% of online searches to TikTok, which is huge. Google is the place you go for all things information. But you're starting to see the shift in everything. So even with the Mark Zuckerberg Meta situation, you know, the more I think about it, I'm like, that was kind of a genius hedge, right, Brent? I think prior to not seeing what you're seeing now and seeing the capabilities of being in Cali and interacting and getting information in Philly, right, with someone still real, right, that didn't require a flight.
And to your point, what's even more interesting is that we have this thing called workplace inside, or it's separate from, it's inside the structure of the company, but it's separate from the metaverse. It's basically Facebook, but for work. So when you talk to people in the metaverse, but then sometimes you also, it's like, it's almost like you talk to someone on Instagram and you take them on WhatsApp and then you get them on the phone. Like in some relationships, like you're in the metaverse and then you're in workplace and then you're email and phone with them, you know, and then you see them in person. It's like, so yeah, it is definitely like, yeah, I don't know what kind of graphics he's working with, but in philosophy, he's probably where he should be, right?
I mean, when you think of the future, and this is why I'm being bullish on this this retail component, right?
The connectivity with privacy and anonymity, but not, but that's again what's so cool is that you don't have to have someone's phone number, you don't have to have someone's email, but it's not like it's still a close relationship, but also they can't really get at you once you poof and get out of there. You know,
right.
Like maybe in workplace or something, and that's like an intranet though. You know, that's very, and even the metaverse in this company is very like, it's not like anybody could jump in it. But I know you're talking about like other things, so that'll apply.
But I mean, but the same thing, right? So being, and I think we have to get back to this again, being tokenomics would allow for things to become private groups now, right? Where you have to be invested in the group, because this is what kind of fucks up the flow of information. You know, there's nothing worse than having your community and having guys under your comments saying the complete opposite, and then this difference of opinion situation, and you're not me, but you're constantly like this all day on the fucking internet. Like, who wants that? You know, everybody just wants a safe space. That, for me, I can't speak for everybody, but that's all I want, to be able to just come to a space where I curate what I want to see and hear. You know what I'm saying? So I got a pretty dope algorithm online. I'm not seeing a whole lot of crazy shit outside of probably what I post is the craziest. But I'm telling you guys, this user experience in the metaverse, we got to start taking a deeper look at it, because there's so many industries, and I'm talking about we could be the first to build. You just name a realtor. I mean, a business today. And I can tell you that they're going to have some sort of presence in these spaces that you curate, especially where this technology is going right now. Shopping online is flat. You know what I mean? Shopping online is flat. Even when we're in our metaverse space, I met some girls. It was two girls and a guy. I met him at, I was showing somebody Comic-Con, and then we got to talking. Right? They're like, oh, we're from Cali, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, okay. And they're like, we don't know what the hell's going on. One of our clients told us to come look at this because, you know, we do PR stuff and we just got to do our research. So I was like, oh, I teach crypto. It could be a lot. And I said, I have a space here. So I end up hitting them with the link, They followed me to the space. And they're like, oh my God, this is cool. And then, of course, I got the ebooks and stuff on there, and I'm kind of taking them through the wall. And they were like, listen, we can't leave without buying something from the metaverse. So they transacted. It took them to my flat site, but it was still the allure of people that I've never met before on 2 different coasts. And because we were in the same room that was open 24/7, it allowed us to have, as weird as it sounds, right? There's definitely way more of these online interactions because I've never met, I don't even, you guys don't even have the cameras on 99% of the time.
Right.
So I couldn't even, like, I've been approached by a few and I'm like, kind of stuck, like, damn, where do I know this person from? I don't want it to be that weird, guys. But in due time, when y'all want to put them cameras on, no problem. So understanding, analyzing what the future behavior of the internet's going to be. And I'm telling you guys, when you start to look at some of the biggest online retailers and the amount of money that they amass when mass adoption came, we are in position to, no one's in control of the space at this point. You know what I'm saying? Mark is bleeding because he's on a macro level. I'm over here on a micro 200-300 trillion level. Like this is how much this space could affect how the world does business with each other. You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking about globally, right? So when you look at Alibaba and just imagine creating a world like that where you can go to, Ethiopia and get palm butter, but then speak to a local. That type of shit. I'm telling you guys, you spend enough time inside of these metaverses, and I'm not what's the other one? Sandbox and Decentraland. That ain't it. That's weirdo stuff. You know what I'm saying? That technology is mirrored. If we went in there at the same time, we wouldn't be able to find each other. That ain't it. So if we're gonna be online, we might as well be online with like some good, like digital human interaction. So Brant, your experience in the metaverse, being in Cali and having access to all, because his brokerage is actually national. So they're everywhere. So now you're even more connected. Or do you feel disconnected not being in office?
Well, it's like, I could have chosen, I guess, to be back in an environment where there's more action. And we do have offices, like we actually do have an office. So with my group that I'm in locally in Playa, like we go to the office. So, right. So I feel connected that way.
Okay.
And then not to be corny, but it was funny when I was speaking to the woman in New York State, like it wasn't just from a call center that knew about New York. She had a thick New York accent, and I felt very at home. So I felt more connected in that respect, because they were local. They just they just were probably in the comfort of their home, but they were in New York. So no, it was nice. It's good. And it's like, you, again, on paper, it's just like, so it's a cartoon that's going to look like someone, like how much could that help? But it's like when you open the door in the BMW and it's got just the right, like, bing, and like that kind of stuff. It all plays in, and it's a good experience. And, you're going to want to stretch out your business these days, I think, if you're thinking about it in terms of, streams and stuff. So it actually, it was connected. It was connected pretty well and felt good. And partly just because I don't think anybody's like fighting that trend. If you are, I mean, you're probably not in this Zoom. And then what's funny is, like, I had an older agent call me today about it, and we went through the whole process and showed her the video and this and that. And I really didn't know she was going to get it, because the millennials, a couple of the things that I've been on were like, the whole group comes together and someone's pitching their wares and they're talking like a mile a minute, and the millennials are like fully into it, and some of the older people are kind of like looking down. But the woman today was older, and she got it and was like interested in the metaverse, and she had friends that were in other states that immediately came to mind. And so it was like when the internet first kind of came out, in a way, and we were like able to connect with our grandparents very quickly. It was nice.
And guys, that's the feeling I have, right? It's taking me back to that point. Like, we've been online for a while, but the stuff I'm seeing, And I'm going to host another space and experience for you guys, and I want to get your feedback on it. It's our office space that we're building out now for the university. So you'll be able to go in breakout rooms, options, futures, like things will be everywhere. So I definitely want to invite you guys to that space. But listen, the lottery, right? I mean, there's so many industries that are going to be created, and everybody's biggest regret is going to be, why didn't I think of that? You know what I'm saying? So this is the time to look at everything that's online right now. You don't even have to go too deep. Just look at whatever the top selling, the top retailers are. Just look at things that you've done in person. And if you could think about it, you can apply it to Web3 and connecting all things and people. And I can tell you that social experience on a lot of these, that immersive web is definitely the future.
It's different, man.
That flat stuff it's not working. Text-based, you see it now. Everybody's going to, live video to get information before they would go and trust anything that's just like a single font.
It's very much how the advertising world went to like experiential for a little while. And that meant like an event at the Javits Center that had like, branded wraps and cool lights. That's like this is sort of like the beginning of the fruition of that, I think.
I agree. So I'm, talking to Herman about this too, because he's doing his live event. And it's like, and speaking to him, guys aren't doing those live events like that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And if you are going to do a live event, you have to put it has to be one hell of an experience. And you see EYL and all things artists performing, and people just want to be immersed. So you're running parallel shows in the metaverse, and you can make it look way better than it would look in person. And I'd hate to be that guy, because I didn't think so until I really started to dive in, and I'm like, shit, kind of dope.
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna be online anyway shopping. And I'm not talking about like just online wasting your time and doing all things. This is just kind of your normal routine, of tapping in wherever. But that's the space I'm going after, guys. This online retail space. And I'm glad to see that most of you guys were on board, because this is it. And I've been part of a lot of projects before, and I haven't been this excited in a long time. Like there's not much that turns me on, lately, but this makes me happy. And the fact that we can touch, and retail is like near and dear to my heart. So it's like to see like big box retailers and malls, you know what I'm saying? Like I've made so much money inside of malls to walk through them now, and they're just so lifeless. You go in and it's just, even the salespeople are just terrible. It just doesn't exist.
D-League, as you call it.
Yeah, it's bad. It's worse than the D-League at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Might as well be a fucking robot with no sense of humor. I'm happy you guys are gonna, and at the least you're gonna be privy to what's happening. So whenever you feel comfortable coming in. But I'm urging you guys, start to make the pivot. You have to secure these are the future economies. It's been one hell of a 2 weeks, man. So my man that created, my partner that created the municipality, those buildings, everything's old in there. They still have things on pen. You go to their websites, you can't download or print anything. These people do not invest in any sort of technology. So it's been a big it's been received well, put it that way. And even there was a campaign even ran for a politician and she ended up winning. So now you're being a little more progressive, in your approach to reaching voters, right? Because Obama was the first internet president, social media president.
Social media, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So now it's gonna what's gonna be that new situation. And don't get me wrong, Amazon is a behemoth, but there's elements to this situation here that's way better than Amazon, way better. And I had products that were like Groupon way before Groupon, and all things. So I was in the tech world at that time with creative ideas, but I just didn't know how to code.
Mm-hmm.
That's what held me back. And I went to school for coding, but just never stupid, dumb. You know what I'm saying? So that's that. So now I'm back to where I was, way more seasoned, and with a better mindset at this point. So I'm looking at all future possibilities, guys. I mean, every single industry, we have an opportunity to just crush it.
Crush it, yeah.
Crush it. Like, yo, how did they think about this? So miss me with trying to recruit more people into crypto. I don't care what y'all do. You know what I'm saying? Because the next wave is really just, take that boot camp. Hopefully the 1% can help you out a little bit with the price points, but we really need to be building now. You know what I'm saying? We really need to be building now. So if anybody has any ideas or concepts for any Web3 virtual reality implementation, metaverse, let's start putting paper to pen now, because the guys that we have in our corner are some of the best developers you're going to find around. And this ain't like overseas shit either. And they're willing to build at a high level and partner on everything that we do, if needed. So this is how much they believe in the vision that we have. Shit gonna be wild. So I'm not just relying on XRP and Ripple and all other things. And again, that's not financial advice. It's crazy that you got to say this shit so many times. Yeah, so this month and next month is an attack on all influencers. Board 8 just got hit with their lawsuit. FTX situation, a bunch of private people got together. They brought in Tom Brady and all these guys, and you got to look at some of the commercials. I had no fucking clue what was happening over there.
Mm-hmm.
I just knew these guys were spending money, but I ain't really invest in like what they were doing on that side. They were believable. You know what I'm saying? I would have bought it as a Tom Brady fan. They gotta give some money back. What you got for him, champ?
So I'm not like, after all that, like, y'all kind of get the gist of it, right? So this is we on the downturn. I'm not gonna go over just like small little news, news clips and things like that. You guys can read the articles. I'll make sure they're posted. I've been dropping them all throughout the chat, just so everybody can have them. But just to piggyback off,
wait. So I'm gonna start hosting inside the metaverse office space. So this is where we're gonna be doing all our communication. None of it's gonna be recorded.
Yeah.
So if you're there, you're there. If not, we'll just take notes and I'll do recaps of what information is there. I just don't need this like recorded anywhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's
I'm excited about this, guys. And if y'all know me, I don't really smile too much or like shit's not been great, in the overall, but this project here, I'm excited about this shit. Like, this is it. When I look at it, it's those pivotal moments like Mark Cuban with broadcast.com and where old boy is going with Fanatics and Topps Card and digitizing that whole world. Michael Rubin.
Yeah.
Boys having fun over there, man. They're building casinos, lottery. Guys, you see where I'm going with this? Okay, champ.
Yo, so look, I just need you guys to understand this. At this point in the game, everybody that's on this call, this is like sound advice to every single person on here. Listen, scrutinize everything. Everybody who's taking a boot camp, everybody who's in the 1%, you guys already know this. I stress this all the time. This is not the first time you guys are hearing this, so don't expect this to be some profound statement. this is a constant reminder because this is the time. So you're going to see a lot of BS that continues to go on. You're going to see more exchanges go under. You're going to see more SEC overreach. You're going to see more catalysts that's going to push regulations to come into effect. We already prepared you guys for the Black Swan that's coming, but just on an everyday, just constant reminder level, like, please do your own research with everything. Scrutinize everything. All of these social media influencers, right? All of these guys are just a regular everyday person that stepped in front of the camera that's giving you information. But the tell behind it is you never know if this person is incentivized. You don't know if they're influenced. You don't know if they're being paid off, etc. Right? And the SEC just grabbed up 8 people in $100 million quote unquote pyramid scheme or Ponzi scheme, and this is all related to stocks. So I never heard of any of these guys, right? And I'm familiar with a couple of guys that's traders, but these guys have amassed a nice following. We're talking 500, 600,000 followers, on social media. And these guys are, basically peddling plays, telling you guys to invest in certain stocks. And then what they're doing is they're not disclosing to you that once they pump this to you, they know you're going to invest your money and then they instantly dump on you. So this is causing, it's textbook pump and dump. Right. So this is happening in stocks, but the same thing has been going on in crypto. So this is why I'm even mentioning it. I need you guys to understand this. Never mind the SEC, because these guys are inadequate. They're doing a lot of overreaching. And ever since Gary Gensler has been in tenure, they haven't been doing their number one job. These guys have five cardinal rules at the SEC. The most important is basically protecting the retail investor. Who is that? Me and you. So when it comes to retail investors, I'm always going to make sure I do my part to make sure everybody at Skyton is protected. So, the best advice I could ever give you guys, especially right now while everything is going on, do not take these guys' plays that they're just peddling, they're just pumping, giving you stuff. Scrutinize everything. If you hear anybody mention a cryptocurrency project or stock or whatever the case is, do your own research. And if that means you might miss the play, better safe than sorry. Because you cannot trust these guys. And it's been like this for years. I've been telling everybody the same story for years. You just have to make sure you're paying attention to who's who. Because this is not the first time. And just because they just grabbed up these 8 gentlemen from, and they posted their Twitter handles and all that. I'll make sure I post this article for you guys so you have it. Just remember that this is on the heels of the case against the SEC versus Ian Bellina. We went over this, I believe this was end of September, if I'm not mistaken. I got the court case filings. This was from September 19th. And you guys can read over this, but this is the actual court docs to substantiate what I'm saying. Like, these guys are going to continue to go after anybody that's able to give you guys a play. And a lot of people just blindly operate and say, listen, I'm going to put my money in here because I'm chasing green. I want money. I'm going to invest. Not really knowing that these guys are being paid off. Some of these guys are shilling. And that's not right. You know what I mean? So because we actually devote our hard-earned time and energy into looking into all these projects, the latest news, and we're able to kind of devote this time nonstop and then really give it to you guys in a manner where you guys can receive it and digest it and understand it, that takes a lot of time. So I take personal offense to situations like this when you're dealing with just random people giving out plays and they're pumping and dumping. Because at the end of the day, you're doing more of a disservice than helping someone. If you can get in and get out, hey, that's cool, but that's a risk you take. But if, just blindly following somebody, there's a lot of people who do that because they don't know where to start. They don't know where to go to. Right? And sometimes it takes a loss for them to learn, but I don't really believe in that. You know what I mean? I want people to really be protected and be safe as most as you possibly can. So just long and short, make sure you guys are scrutinizing everything. Don't just take these guys' word for anything, and just make sure you're doing your due diligence before you put your money into anything. You know what I mean? Always remember that. And a lot of these guys too, right now, you need to make sure that, as you're listening to them, some people are going to start saying this just out of protection. But you can kind of determine when somebody is kind of misleading you. You know what I mean? You need to hear the words, this is not financial advice, as I'm not a financial advisor. This is for educational purposes only. Like a lot of times these YouTubers say this as a script, but you have to understand the nature of that person. If you've been following them long enough and you've been, you know, in the space long enough, you can kind of start to pick and choose and cherry pick which ones are being genuine and which people are just trying to cover their ass. Like, I just want you guys protected by all means. Binance. So because Binance has, basically they were the catalyst behind this whole FTX situation. Now, this is a double-edged sword. Knowing that CZ was behind all of this because those two guys were going back and forth, that pettiness basically revealed the chink in FTX's armor, and it showed everything that FTX was doing, which was fraud, right? They were money laundering, and this was fraud. When people wanted to make deposits, they were giving people Alameda's deposit address. So you know from the jump, this was fraudulent. They shouldn't be doing that. And they were just basically putting, you know, paper deposits on Binance, but the money was actually flowing through Alameda, allowing Alameda and, you know, its partners to be able to divvy up money, and these guys were using it for personal reasons. We tell you guys a million times over, keep your money off these exchanges, but these are the reasons that's going to continue to show face. They're going to keep rearing their head until all of these exchanges are gone. Because they're showing you right now, these guys are insolvent, whether it be functionally or, you know, they're just putting up a guise that they still are functional. These guys do not have the money. And a lot of this money, it just doesn't exist. So what they're doing is they're using other means to manipulate the markets to falsify numbers. This whole proof of reserves thing that's going on, I mean, I thought that was an incredible idea from the jump. But as you see, even companies like Grayscale, they're still refusing, you know, to show their reserves. And these are supposed to be the biggest holder of Bitcoin. And they're telling you flat out in the news. I think I posted the article a little earlier in the chat. They told the guys verbatim, we're not sharing our reserves. So when you see guys coming out the woodworks like Jeremy Allaire, the CEO of Circle, which is the USDC issuer, he's telling you guys this stuff for a reason. He's trying to build you guys' trust. There's full transparency, and he's letting you guys into the books. He's showing you everything is back one-to-one, because right now in this space, it's hard to trust anybody. And I'm still saying, I'm not telling you, you know, to full 100% trust USDC, but I'm just telling you that what they're doing is a great step, and this is what's giving them a competitive advantage relative to the rest of these stable coins. It's just basically showing you that USDC is going to be here for the long term. They're working with regulators whenever there's a situation in the space and they need to blacklist a wallet, where they need to actually stop a transaction or reverse a transaction. They're able to do that, you know, so it's a gift and a curse, but they're showing you that they're working with regulators to be able to do this. And at the end of the day, that ultimately protects the retail investor. Because normally when these guys are blacklisting addresses, this is from, you know, some guy doing something nefarious, basically coming in and, frauding an exchange or hacking an exchange. And the people who aren't wise enough with their investments to self-custody, these guys that are just leaving their crypto on crypto exchanges, once the exchange gets hacked, you already don't have control of your digital assets, so you lose your money as well. This is why we always preach to you guys, cold storage is key. And by now, you guys know this, you know, it's kind of beating a dead dog, but, you know, I just need to drive that point home. There's a lot of things that's going on in this space that's going to continue to happen like this. And no exchange is safe. So please, if you see somebody from here on out, this is the running thing, right? Everybody on this call, you're all responsible for it. Wolf, Sonia, Tone, everybody, Rig, everybody, right? I'm calling y'all out specifically. Whenever people are inside of the beginner's chat and there's like, Binance too, Coinbase too, KuCoin too. Listen, every single exchange right now is in jeopardy. It doesn't matter what these guys are showing you. There's a liquidity crisis going on around the world. This is global. And it's affecting these exchanges because what the exchanges were doing was they were taking retail investors, us, taking our deposits, take our deposits, reinvesting into volatile assets. They were lending money to other people, to market makers, to other people that were, going into futures trading, etc. Right? High risk, DeFi protocols, things like that. And these guys were losing their money. They didn't have the money to be able to repay the loan. What does that mean? That means the retail investor's money is now gone. And the exchange itself wasn't able to recoup the money that it lent out, which was your money. This is why you buy your crypto immediately, send it to your cold storage, and get it right off the exchange. Play no games, second guess nothing, trust no exchange. Steve gave you guys another alternative, and we're going to continue to give you guys these alternatives because you have to have a way to get money into the space, right? So we're going to make sure that that happens for you guys. We're going to give you guys all the gems that we have. But when you see these comments that pop up in the beginner's chat, and these guys are asking a million questions about different exchanges, listen, we already told you guys what to do. Go to CoinMarketCap, go to CoinGecko, look at the ratings, look at the liquidity, look at the volume that's going on over there. If it looks shaky, don't trust it. Safeguard yourselves, man. This is the time, because this is a domino effect. The contagion was just FTX, but then now back up, FTX, Celsius, BlockFi, Voyager. You know what I mean? All of these other exchanges are going to keep going under, and these lending platforms, they're going to keep falling, and they're going to crumble on purpose. This is all by design. So don't get so caught up in just the individual news. Receive it, understand it, but don't get caught up in it. This is all a distraction. You knew this was coming. We told you this a million times. It's not going to change. This is the play that you're faced with. Period. So that's all I got to say on that. I'm tight-lipped today. I ain't really got too much to say. We got a lot of work we putting in. So we just gonna keep putting on for y'all and making sure you guys are, just well equipped, man. So that's that. Steve, you muted.
Yeah, research all the launches of the digital currencies in the past week. India, China, China just adding, they plussing it up already on these people. But there's been resistance in every country, though. Every country's had resistance. And that could just be human behavior. Or maybe not. I don't know. I don't know how they feel about the cult. I see a lot of people fighting back in these countries, so yeah, they probably fed up. If anything, we're the easiest to manipulate right now compared to the world.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. This is happening.
Yeah, but I just pay attention to it. Pay attention to all the latest regulations. It's all gonna pretty much look identical. You know what I'm saying? China might roll out the most extreme social credit system. The United States is gonna call it a reward system. We're gonna reward you for XYZ.
Crazy.
Italy actually has a reward system now. They called it reward system.
Word?
That just launched this summer. Yeah, they probably like 6 months in now.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Social credit system in Italy. Yeah. Yeah, keep fucking around. Yeah, keep going to these countries in Europe. Act up.
That's crazy. Yeah, that was back in April.
Oh yeah, no, I've been tracking that for a minute.
Shit. Damn, bro, you over there holding on to gems. I ain't know this one missed my radar.
Oh, my fault. I thought we all knew this. I mentioned it.
You probably did. I just, escaping the brain. I just dropped a link for it so everybody can, who didn't know, y'all could tap in.
Yeah, guys, at the least, if you don't have the right utility coins, then, good luck on the rest of the shit. I hope you position for Web3. Oh, you didn't see that one? Yeah, no, I brought it up a few times to the university though, when they launched it. You see them fucking around, right?
Yeah, that's wild, man. And these other countries, they continue to implement it, and it's just, I knew Canada was, with the BS with him, with Justin, at the reins. But it's just wild, man, to see how things are operating. Yeah, yes, you seen the article where they talking about banning TikTok officially? It's a bill going on right now.
I mean, get rid of it. I don't care.
Yeah. And it's like, yo, I mean, it's a cool platform. I like it because you can gain a lot of traction over there. You see what we did in, less than a month. We couldn't even do a year on Instagram from being, shadow banned. But it's just wild because, a lot of this stuff, we're using smart devices. So you're able to talk, say something, you can mention a product, a car, service, or whatever, and then you start seeing the ads for it. You know what I mean? That's not supposed to be the case. Even though it's convenient, it's not supposed to be the case. That means somebody's listening to you. Who's the somebody? It's Big Brother all day. You know what I mean? But who's in control of that data? Who's in control of that information? Right? And then what are they doing with that information? You're being targeted, but they're collecting all of this information to you. But you feel like it's convenience because they're able to show you something in a matter of seconds. It just populates on your timeline. You think, oh, what a coincidence. Now I don't have to search for it, and you click on the link. But think about, that same play in the wrong hands. These people are continuously collecting data, and that's gold. That's fuel for the machine. You know what I mean? They know what you're looking for, what you're looking at. You know what I mean? They know too much intel about you. You know what I mean? You might be giving too much secrets, too much info. So,
and listen, be careful with this artificial, like this facial recognition stuff, guys. Don't do that shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? Don't do it. Because like Champ said, we don't know these companies. You don't know what that data is being used for. All things, your face is going to have to unlock all things. If I had to guess in the future, and for somebody to have a digital copy of that motherfucker, and to be able to place it somewhere, all right, I better have your alibi tight.
Straight up.
This is the part of the industry that's bullshit. When you can get this much intel and see this far out, and shit, there's not a damn thing I could do but keep going at this point.
Yeah.
Because you can't unsee what you see. So anytime these artificial, these apps come out and they want facial recognition, don't do it. Do not do it. And every exchange is turning information over to the authorities. Every single exchange. They've never turned down one request. And there's been increases in the requests. The United States is actually #1 in the most inquiries. And every other country, it's 60% spike this year from last year. And I'm not saying there's not bad actors out here, guys, but when they start to put other targeting things in play, so let's say we redo this pandemic shit again, and if anybody tries to be outspoken against whatever, you're cooked.
Yeah.
You're cooked. And the scary part is they did all this even with the court system. They said the courts are closed. I was like, oh shit. We on our own. They closed the courts.
Wow. And
they implemented not even law. It was like, what the fuck was it? PSAs?
You said PSAs.
That shit was so weak. I wasn't even tripping.
Yeah, man.
I wasn't tripping.
Yeah, funny, but not funny.
They stopped us from eating at restaurants. People needed life-threatening surgeries. They stopped people from doing that. Just think about it, man. It was a real big exercise. And when all this is linked to your digital profile, how do you cut you cut the head of the snake? If they freeze all your bank accounts right now and you have no cards, fuck you do. Hope you got some good friends and a good tribe. So this is the part of the tribe that I tell you guys, we're forming something a little more than just a traditional university. You just come here for information. This is one of the future innovative companies in the next decade. I can guarantee that this university would be one of the most innovative companies in the next decade.
Gospel.
They never lied to the people, and they ushered in the latest product before anybody figured it out. And I told y'all, you see it, your friends and family, them dudes that just ain't on it. Don't waste the time, man. Just come research. Let's build. They're going to be users.
Too much bandwidth.
Yeah, now it's on. We cooking. So if I'm not answering questions about how or this or that, or how much to get into, I can't, man. Go to the beginner's chat. And y'all just keep serving the people the good work, man. I do appreciate seeing you guys chiming in too. Not that we would never get to answering them, but you know, some of it is, I don't know if they missed the course on, and not all of it. A lot of it is good information. Like when you can't do a transaction somewhere else, it's always good to come back to ask if anybody else has transacted. So I'm not discrediting all things. It's just, you know, we got to step it up a little bit in the combos. And then listen, when you post articles, post your view on it. Just shoot a quick video or a voice memo if you don't want to type.
Yep.
Because he just, even in conversations with Champ, where he's just like, he leaves me with something, and I'm like, damn, I ain't even think about that. And that's Champ and I.
Vice versa.
You know what I'm saying? So if we as a collective group, like, fuck the article. I got the article. I read it. You know, let's give our perspective on the article and you know, get a little bit more out of it. So we got to just go a little deeper as a community. So I'm urging you guys, voice memos, you know, I'm not much with like long type, so you're going to see a lot more, even in the way that we deliver messages personally to you guys. You know, we're going to start shooting it just to be a little more, you know, there's a lot of disconnect with this texting, which is why I feel the innovation in that digital retail space is the play. You know, and can you imagine going to a space and then there's a particular celebrity there, and you know, one of your old NBA greats signs a digital NFT, and then you just on your way, like security, travel, you know, it cuts back on a lot of things.
Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah,
That's hard.
it's the shit we looking to do. But the tokenomics behind it is really what I'm drawn to, guys. We think we just giving it to just any fucking fiat. Yeah, okay. Yeah, right. Nah. What else? Yo, real estate. This shit don't make no sense out here. I'm being honest with y'all. They are manufacturing renters at an alarming rate, right? Everybody who bought, most people who bought in the last year are already down. They're upside down on their loans already, right? We still have all the foreclosures from prior to the pandemic that never really came to market. And then you got people right now that are just underwater. So this is short sale season right here, right? Brent, have you been around for a short sale season in real estate?
I haven't, but it is coming up.
Listen, it's a lot of work, but it's a lot of money, right? So when I say short sale, you're able to just like bail out of your loan early. You'll recover in like 2 years. It won't matter anyway. The credit system's going away. But either way, with short sales, you could recoup in 2 years from a short sale. So you're basically just creating a number. The good thing about the short sales in realtors is once you line yourself up, I don't know anybody that did this, but I heard that agent can tie a buyer and it never really looks like it goes to market, put it this way. So short sale season is very, very lucrative for a lot of people because people in trouble want to get out. I'm seeing guys, so Domino's, the pizza delivery guys, and this is true, you know, they put the signs on top of the cars. Luxury cars are delivering pizzas to homes. So this is that whole, you know, this is that give back period now. So guys are getting innovative. So with the real estate, when I've done the numbers, guys, and most of these deals on market right now don't make no fucking sense at all from an investor standpoint. The way I look at things, it ain't good. These whatever they're telling you, you don't have the access to that capital that these guys have. So this is why you see Amazon and all guys going into the single family home business. They're manufacturing renters. There's not going to be any home ownership in the United States if it's up to these guys. So you will not have any assets at all. And your shit's going to be expiring. So you got to figure out what to do with the money. And then on top of that, you got to think once they start to program this, it's programmable money, right? So now they're going to tell you what you can and can't do. Right. So, you know, Be careful. It's going to get weird. And if you've seen some of the bills that they were trying to pass in some of these states, you might want to get up out of there. And that governor in Florida, he's going to make a run at this White House, and he'll be able to upseat Agent Orange for sure. That guy said the other day, and he called my ear, he was like, listen, if you don't want all the shit that this World Economic Forum is about to throw on us, you move to the state of Florida, because we're not going for none of that shit.
Yeah.
So somebody's listening.
Straight
You know what I'm saying? As dumb as that conservative is, he makes some good points, but then it's like, but it's like, whatever. We all kind of, y'all know what I talk, so it's whatever. We can coexist. Let's just not fuck with each other. And that's it. Maseratis, yeah, nah, for sure. And if y'all see it, take a picture of it. Take a picture next to it.
Straight up.
Yeah, so I'm analyzing real estate right now, and I'm doing the numbers, and I'm like, oh my God, this is not working. The private money space, the money's high, like astronomically high, 14, 15%. I'm talking about commercial now. Right. So it's like trying to do any big deals in these days is considered high risk. So hopefully today they eased it a little bit with Jerome, but it's still an increase. So never good. So I say that to say you got to start getting your hands on some of these assets right now, because you got to know that's the one thing. And I don't care how much digital currency they code or tell you how scarce it's going to be. Like, land is pretty fucking important. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just it. Land is pretty important, and it's scarce. Right. So the government had just released a whole bunch of land right now, guys, and they're going for cheap. I didn't even realize they own that much land still out here. So I would urge everybody to start to position yourself with and it's a renter's market, so you're always going to have a client at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? So you're better off being a landlord in the next couple of years.
Yeah. Ownership is key, but doing this thing the right way.
That's the most important. There's just some numbers that just don't make sense. But what I've been getting deals coming across my desk now where people are hurting. I'm seeing it. Right. The tax delinquencies. That's another class I can put together too. So when we start to do the office situation and go into the office, this is for VIP now. I'm going to put you guys on to the tax auction game. Yeah, I picked it up a few years back. Never really implemented it, but I just have knowledge in a lot of it. And if do we have anybody from Texas on the call here? Put a one in.
Steve, quick question, bro.
What you got?
Why the taxes like ran up this year, man? The homeowner taxes and the insurance, like all of a sudden.
All this stuff, these are derivative markets. They're all tied to the market.
Mm-hmm.
Everything goes up. You know what I'm saying? The cost of doing business is going up. Everything's going up. So when you don't have people owning these assets and these homes and it's just renters, guys, it's going to affect all markets at that point now. The car market is going to crash. It's not going to be good. So yeah, Rick, everything's just tied together, man. Like,
yeah, but I'm talking about my home, bro. They add about like $300 on top of that for the insurance, dude. And then the taxes like about close to $400. I mean, no, $2,000. It was like $5,000 for a year, and that's like $7,000.
I mean, look at the home prices in the last couple of years. Remember, assessments are back 1 to 2 years, so you're paying for this is the give back period.
Tell you what, because there's way too many people moving down here down in Florida, bro. That's the thing.
There's gonna be more coming, so that's gonna be unavoidable. Especially when you hear the talks like that. Watch, you're gonna see a lot of people, man, start, especially on that side of the bird. Oh, they coming down that way, and they already been like that because it's a tax haven. Then certain people was moving in because it's a crypto haven. Like,
yeah,
they
you
coming.
looking at 1.2 million, and they building things like people went in line to get them, bro. Nothing. I'm like, where's that money come from?
That's Cali and New York money.
Yeah.
True that.
That's
Yeah.
Cali and New York money. My old broker sold his house in Florida for 1.8 million to a guy in New York. Guy quick close cash, 10 days to get this transaction done.
Quick.
Right. My broker made out almost $1 million on that. And then because he knows the market, he's going to be able to pick a better house up than the one that he had for 600,000. This is the game. You know what I'm saying? This is the game. This is why I buy investment properties to offset my cost of living at the end of the day. So we got to figure out a way to get into this real estate. But if anybody's from Texas, I need to talk to y'all because that's one of the best states for these tax auctions. You can, in Texas, don't play. They have ownership protection like you wouldn't even imagine. You can foreclose somebody on the courthouse steps like within a week. And I'm not saying this is what we're trying to do. I'm just teaching you how to another way of investing your money in real estate without having to get ownership. And if the person does fall back and you want to foreclose, then that's your God-given right. Yeah, so you're in Cali, right? You're probably in yeah, you might want to get up out of there. Oh, Chicago. It's not a bad market either. Why do I think you were in Cali? What's that? I was just at Dell in September. I'm not following, Tracy. Yeah, the taxes have increased everywhere, guys. Yeah, the taxes have increased everywhere. Yeah, the real estate's important. And then, you know, again, I'm still looking to bridge that real estate and crypto sector together. That's still in play too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, access to capital is going to change like quick, fast within a year in this country. You're going to start to see access to capital products. So the technology, this is what the Vanguards and these guys wanted. They wanted the technology that was built, right? Because these kids, the Celsius, like these guys didn't just build these companies in the last year. There's a lot of technology in these companies. So they're wrapping these things up, man. Yeah, they're buying it up. And it's going to be the normal guys, the normal protocol. But like I said, if we're just positioned correctly, as a whole, we should have access to capital, like a lot of it. And then already being in innovative spaces, you know, at that point, it's just, all right, the highest bidder. If you want to.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Some I'm gonna keep, but most I'm showboating now. They're gonna pay. They're gonna pay the wrong guy this time. I'm gonna show y'all what to do with it. Yeah, we're gonna win. All right, yo, I'm good. So metaverse, next week I'm gonna schedule the right before Christmas. I want to get you guys in to kind of show you some stuff. Unless y'all want to see it real quick now. Nah, they too slow on the trigger, man. I hold the people up, man. Nah, Kiera, I gotta pass, man. I thought I would have saw emojis and all that shit. I'm good. Champ in the morning, you gonna take them out?
Yeah, man. Yo, listen, man, this was another episode of Doc Connect Wednesdays. Greatly appreciate y'all being here, letting us pour in and rock y'all. Now we do. Catch y'all on the next one.
Oh man.